Piercing the skyline, the Spaceneedle invites visitors to come and explore the Pacific Northwest. Welcome to Seattle, Washington. Known as the Emerald City, Seattle is a place that has great impact on each of our lives. As the birthplace of many largely influential entities, Seattle dwellers are known for their intellectual achievements. Leading the way for over a century, Seattle's impact extends far beyond the average American, making it a city that truly has global reach and influence. From sports fans to artists and technology experts to nature enthusiasts, Seattle offers culture and community for the most well-rounded of individuals. In addition, Seattle's proximity to the coast exposes an additional layer of industry and fun for locals. These things and more are part of what has drawn people like Will and his family to the greater Seattle area.
So my name's Will Forrest, married to Tiffany. We actually met in 5th grade, high school sweethearts, got married young, started our family young, have 4 kids now, teenagers, today ages 17, 15, 15, and 13. In 2014, the Lord really prompted within our hearts a desire to be a part of church planting. We didn't know exactly what that looked like. I was serving on staff at a church outside Boise, Idaho for about 6.5 years. So I reached out to a former seminary professor, asked how we might be able to prepare ourselves for church planting, and he said, you should move to South Carolina, let us invest in you for a couple years, and then we'll send you out to the city that the Lord calls you to. And through that journey of prayer and preparation, I really saw a unique opportunity to land in Seattle, east side of Seattle, and through landing in this city, touch the nations. And so the truth is Seattle impacts every person in every place, every day, from what you eat, you drink in Starbucks, to how you travel in Boeing, to the software and the devices that you work on, Microsoft, to how you shop through Amazon, to how you even plan your travel through Expedia. Seattle just touches the nations. And the heartbeat of engaging the nations with the gospel is really what turned our eyes to the east side of Seattle. So we planted Summit Life Church fall of 2017. God in his kindness, if I were just to describe the journey of our church planting journey, it would be just God's kindness. God has been really kind to our church and to our family. We had 5 families across the United States relocate to help us plant the church, from Idaho, Illinois, 2 families from Virginia, 1 from Maryland, all just kind of bought into this idea of relocating on purpose, for a gospel purpose. And as those 5 families relocated, we had 5 local families join our team. And so we launched fall of 2017 with 11 families that were a part of our local church. Yeah, so there were really 3 distinct prayers that we had when we started our church. We were praying that we would be multi-ethnic. We were praying that we would be multi-generational, and we were praying that we would be multi-socioeconomic. And God has honored those prayers to varying degrees and various seasons of our church life. We have had over 20 nations worship with us throughout the course of our 7 years. We, on any given Sunday, will have someone who is a city dweller, a homeless person, sitting next to those who have access to millions of dollars in their bank accounts and 401ks. And the prayer for multi-generational kind of congregation, they believed that's a sign of church health. And part of those 10 families that joined our church early on, there was 1 family that was seasoned in life that gave their, I would say, golden years, best years to our church plant effort. And for the first couple of years, they were the only family in our church with gray hair. And since then, we actually have multiple families in our church that have 3 generations within our church. So you have grandparents, adult children, and then grandchildren worshiping with us. And for a church that's 7 years old in a region that's 2 to 4% evangelical, that's a pretty remarkable thing. So in 2018, family leveraged their resources for us to be able to purchase the space that we were in. After 21 months of renovation, we were able to step into the space. So right around summer 2020, the space is 4,400 square feet. We've been able to have 200 and 250 people gather in this space, baptized in this space, come to faith in this space, be discipled in this space. But we have reached the limits of what we think we can do in this space. And God providentially, through a local Christian school, tied up a larger facility about 1.5 miles from where we currently meet. And we plan to transition into that new space and facility this coming fall. But through cooperation and collaboration, it's made it feasible both for the school and for our church to be able to be in a larger space that facilitates the needs of discipling kids and providing a Christian education for the families, not only within our church, but within our community. But it also allows our church to be in a space where we can have permanent office space and have a worship space that will allow our two services to come together and continue to grow. And so opportunity for us to come together, opportunity for us to continue to engage our neighbors and see the ministries within our church develop and mature and grow should the Lord bless our efforts. And so we're excited about the future and what's ahead. Certainly a transition ahead, moving from a space that's 4,400 square feet to a place that's 54,000 square feet. So it's significantly larger, and we're excited about the ways that we can steward that space for the gospel work that God's called us to in our community.
Through their partnership with the school and their relationships in their community, Will's prayer of generational worship and impact has become a reality.
My daughter, early in our journey of church planting, was in the back seat. We had just moved out here, and she asked me the question, "Dad, I know we moved out here to start a church, but how?" And I remember laughing, thinking, that's the $1 million question that everybody's asking anytime they plant a church. Like, how is a church planted? And I just responded by saying, that family that we had over last night for dinner, we're going to hope that the Lord allows us to meet another family, and we're going to invite them over for dinner. And we hope that there will be another family. And so if you were to ask me how we planted our church, certainly the Lord's kindness is the foundation of how we planted our church, and the gospel is the means by which we have a community that's worth gathering. But around a dinner table is really how we planted a church. And so we, even today, 7 years in, continue to prioritize each day the relationships that the Lord's entrusted into our care. So how do we make every day count? We try to invest in the relationships that we have. We try to uniquely build relationships in the lives that we may not yet know, recognizing that it's in those and through those relationships that God works and bears eternal fruit.
Will and his family are making every day count. How about you?